Hey guys, this is your Hairapy session with Emily. I'm your host, Emily Mazur, aka Portland hairstylist. So, how is everyone doing? Are you guys all right out there? The reason why I asked this is because I'm actually not all right. It's been really hard. My books are slowing down. I'm tired of me and the kiddos being stuck doing nothing. I'm tired of not being able to see my mom friends and seeing their children with my kids. And I honestly didn't have a great week last week at work. I know it can be worse. I know it can. But it's like, fuck, can we just get to January 20th and move forward, right? Can we have some good news on January 5th? And this is me talking politics because I do like talking politics. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, wear your freaking masks. Let's move forward. Let's work together. Let's get past this pandemic. One thing that I've actually realized, and it's so funny how things happen for a reason. I am so glad that I started this podcast, guys. I am so glad. This is my one creative outlet that I have outside of the salon. When I'm outside of the salon, I'm mom, and my attention are on my two kids all day and at night if they wake up in the middle of the night. And this is my saving grace, is me to be able to have one-on-one conversations with people that I really admire, respect, and I actually want to get to know more. This next guest that I have on the show, I would like to say I am friends with her. We are friends. Alison, you and I are friends. I don't know you very well, and I haven't known you for very long, but I am your friend, and I would like to be your friend. Yeah, it was pretty cool. I don't know her for very long, but I started to get to talk to her, and I really loved her passion, her ideas about hair, and I was like, would you like to be on my show? And she said yes. And it was really cool because I actually get to know her a little bit more by having her on the show, spending some time with a cup of coffee. Here's an interview, or not, I don't even want to say, yeah, it was an interview. I would say this is more casual. Hair Talking Coffee with Alison Wilson. Alison Wilson works at 77 Salon with me. And this was recorded on Tuesday, November 24th of 2020. Hey everyone, so this is Hair Talk and Coffee with Alison Wilson on the show Your Hairapy Session with Emily. Hey.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so we were just talking just a minute ago about I've never seen Alison's face. And I'm so excited that I can actually see you.
I know. It's like so much is expressed through our faces. And
I know.
Wild that, yeah, we haven't.
It's so weird. It's like almost you imagine what the person would look like underneath a mask.
And it's never what you imagine.
No, it's not. No. So you guys, Alison actually works at 77 Salon. And when did you start working there?
I started working there in October. So it's brand new. It's feeling great. Honestly, all my clients have been so elated to be there and just
that's cool.
And I'm loving it. I feel like I'm settling in. So
that's great.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because we were just talking earlier, or just a couple days ago, that I like your energy. There was something about you when you started talking, and I think it's actually how you hold yourself. And the same thing, like listening to you, how you talk with your clients, I'm like, she's actually a pretty cool person, and I want to get to know her more.
I felt the same way about you. I was just like, this has been like, you were so warm and so welcoming to me. I was just like immediately felt comfortable. And that's something that
good.
Don't come across that often, I feel like.
Which I don't know if I've ever said it on the show, but did I tell you what Nicholas calls me?
No.
He calls me the welcoming committee.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. And I was just like, that's right. That's right. I'm always nice to people. I love meeting new people. I love having new people at the salon, and it's great. You just get to it. I give people the benefit of the doubt. I like doing that.
Yeah.
So now I want to know your hair journey. We already talked about it a little bit, and it's so funny because people do say this. Like, I know you said it. It's like, oh, my journey is not really that important or that glamorous or whatever.
Yeah.
But how long have you been doing hair?
I've been doing hair behind the chair for about 4 years now.
Do you know how amazing that is to only be doing hair for 4 years and then automatically you're leasing now?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big deal. I hope you know that's a big deal. It took me about 7, and it's really cool to see people see hairstylists gain skill and education and then just do it.
Yeah.
So
that was the biggest part of it for me. It was like, if I'm really going to do this, I want to do this right. I feel like, yeah. And it's caught me by surprise too. Like, I didn't necessarily think I'd be in the position to lease after 4 years either, but like, here I am. I feel like it's exactly what I needed. But
now going back to how you grew up, you said you were in a military family.
Yeah. So I grew up moving all over the country until I was in high school, really. Me and my family moved back to the Northwest where my family's originally from. And yeah, I think that is kind of this like fundamental rooted part of like why I really wanted to work with people and always did, was because every year and a half or 2 years, like I was in a completely new situation with all new people, and I was having to like, I just feel like I got this really, I don't know, huge privilege growing up. In a way, I feel like people are like, that must have been so hard, but I feel like from a certain perspective, it was a privilege. I got to meet so many amazing people. I got to learn how to like build those human connections and really experience so many friendships and so many people and so many places that it really gave me like this broader perspective, I think, of like human nature. From like an early age.
Was there a time that you ever felt like you just wish you were grounded? Because you seem like a very grounded person.
Yeah, and I think me and my family are really close because of that. Like, they're my home, like wherever that is. And yeah, I definitely think that there was times, and I think I knew in my life, like that would be something in my adult life that would be important to me, is to like really establish a home somewhere and like a community and like those things that, I didn't necessarily have and
then really quick, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention, what kind of coffee are you drinking, Alison?
I am drinking, it's black. It's from a Chemex. I actually brought my Chemex out here. Like a little pour over.
That's cool.
And from Kova. It's here in Portland, in Southeast Portland.
Is that the one off Grand?
It is.
Oh, okay, cool.
Like Grand and Maine. Beautiful coffee.
Do you drink your coffee black?
I do, yes.
Oh man, that's pretty cool. I do kind of drink my coffee black sometimes, but usually I add some milk. So what do you like about this coffee?
I like that it's sustainably sourced. I like that it's local. Like, I get to support local businesses that are really like doing their art. Like, that's what they are like clearly putting out there. They're like, we really genuinely care about this to like down to every single detail. And we live in a community where there's so much of that to support, and so many, just like, they're literally our neighbors. Like, yeah, I want to support that in every little way that I can. And I think we live in a place that's so easy and accessible to do. Like, I definitely feel like it's important. So
yeah, and I'm a big coffee drinker. I actually drink too much coffee, where I have regular coffee and then I have decaf coffee. Okay. So what I do is I drink regular coffee in the morning until maybe like 1, and then I'll switch to decaf.
I haven't gotten there yet, but
really, that is how much I drink coffee. So right now I have this fabulous boob mug Can you see it?
Love it.
I used to have this in the shop all the time. Everybody knew it was my mug. I think Chelsea one time was drinking water. She doesn't work here anymore. She's really cool. She was drinking water from it, and I was like, so you know that's my mug, right? Anyways, I got this at the Portland Night Market a couple of years ago. I forgot who the designer is. And within my boob mug coffee, I am actually drinking coffee from Lapralita, which is pretty close to the salon. Okay. And actually, sometimes we should go over there. It's walking distance, and it's in a beautiful historic building. And I am drinking, I bought the bag, it's Reforma, which, looking at the back, has hints of baker's chocolate, agave syrup, and pear.
Lovely.
Pretty fancy.
I actually haven't been over there, so
yeah, it's beautiful. And small little coffee shop, really decorated, cute. And usually on Sundays they have a pop-up where they had I think it's called Heyday, where they're donuts. Yeah. You know, so they'll do pastries like once a week or something like that, where they're actually promoting other businesses. So that is what I'm drinking today. That's awesome. And it's very good. All right. There's our shout out. Yeah. So now you're traveling around. Now, was it your mom or your dad in the military?
My dad was in the military. He retired after 20 years of it being in the military. My parents split up. Me and my sister moved back to Oregon, like with my mom, and I kind of bounced in between them until high school, really. Like, I knew I wanted to like be in Oregon. Like, that's where my community was. Like, that's where my people were.
Was your mom originally from the Portland area? Because you did end up living in Corvallis, right?
Yeah, both of my parents are from the Portland area, like in
okay,
and like around there. Yeah, I feel like, you know, I graduated from high school. I moved up to Portland pretty quickly and went to college and wanted to pursue, like, I always knew, even like high school, that I just loved connecting with people. Like, my favorite classes, my favorite teachers, like sociology, like psychology, like I knew I wanted to do something with that. And like, I really liked how that was like intellectualized to a certain degree at that time. And, you know, everyone definitely in high school was like, you should go to hair school. Like, you should go to hair school. It was definitely that person that would be like doing some, like, using some big razors to like cut my friend's hair or whatever. And it was more of just like another facet of like art that I was into, you know.
Did you do coloring, like the box color and stuff too?
Not as much. I feel like a little bit, definitely.
Okay. And I think what was interesting, because we also talked about this earlier, you did not go to beauty school right away after.
I did not.
So where did you go?
I went to Oregon State for about a year. And I think I realized pretty quickly that, you know, and I thought, I was like, I definitely want to be in psychology, sociology. And like, I realized pretty quickly, like, I'm not ready for this big of a commitment. Like, yeah, I'm 18 years old. I just turned 18 years old. Like, I was like, you know, I feel like I'm not getting out of it what I need to get out of it, because I'm not in the right place in my life.
So is that when you decided to do beauty school?
That's when I decided. I took a break from school, period. And I've always really been into fashion. And so like I found some local boutiques that I was like working at here in Portland and like loved doing that. It definitely helped me have that, like, I don't know, customer service experience of like helping women. Like, I feel like that was where I made a little bit of that connection, was like, oh, I'm like connecting with these people and I really get to like help make them feel beautiful in a certain way, you know?
And you said it was one of your customers that told you, right? Was it a customer's like, hey, you should really go to beauty school?
My coworkers that I became really, really close with. And she grew up, like, her aunt owned a salon and she grew up in a salon all of her life. And she was just like, you know what, you should go to beauty school. And like, no one had told me that for a really long time. And I was just like, you know what? Like, and she was just like explaining how that like deeper connection of that was. And I never had thought about it in that way. I was always like, I always wrote it off kind of as like not a career for me because it wasn't serious, right? Like, and it wasn't like, these were my assumptions, you know, that it was like, oh, that it's just kind of about like vanity and like,
yeah,
kind of that. I was like, I'm too smart to go to hair school. Like, why
oh
would my, you know, like,
this is what we have in common because that's how it was.
for podcast, I was like, I so resonate with that. It's just like, I never thought. And I went out on a limb, was like, you know what? Even if like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I honestly did not know what I was doing with my life. I knew that I was like, I don't know if I want to go back to school. Like, that's such a hard commitment to make. And I was like, you know what? Going to hair school is like, quite frankly, I was like, this will be easy. You know, this will be something that will be like easy. I can like, you know, do it while I want to go back to school. Like, it's something that I can do in the short term. That might be kind of fun, you know?
And there's parts of it that is not fun.
It literally completely took me by surprise. It's so hard.
Yeah.
So challenging. And you make it what you want to make it of. But like, I feel like I took an approach where I was like, I want to be really serious about this. Every endeavor I take in my life is like, all right, once I really decide it's what I want to do, I want to like fully 100% commit to like finding the things about it that I can really connect with. And not, it was hard at first, I think, to like, okay, can I see this being something that I can really put myself out there in that way? Am I the stereotypical hairstylist? No, I was not. Like, I was like, I don't think I fit in this world. Like, where do I fit? You know, I think definitely in hair school, I felt that way. Like, all right, like, where, like, is there a community here for me? And I think it wasn't even until after hair school that I started to find that community.
Yeah.
And it's like time.
How did you end up in Portland? And your first shop was Gigis Salon, right?
My first shop was Gigis Salon. I went to the Aveda Institute in Portland, in the Pearl District, just right around the corner from 77. And I went to Gigis Salon. I was an apprentice to a stylist that was an educator for Aveda, that worked in New York for years and years. And he was amazing. You know, honestly, like, we really connected on that intellectual side of like really deep diving into theory of hair. And I think that that's where I really started to connect with it early on, was like, I love that the science behind color, like really like the structural foundations behind hair cutting. Like, it was like so interesting to me. And then more and more when I got behind the chair, it was like, okay, I can apply this knowledge, but also like, wow, now I'm really having to learn how to build that human connection with people.
Yeah. And when did you go to Vidal Sassoon Academy?
I went to Vidal Sassoon Academy just like maybe 9 months after I got out of hair school. It was like in the winter here. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go down to LA and take these classes, like have a break from the winter and really like fully commit. I feel like that was one of those things that like, and I think a lot of hairstylists feel that way, that like they just don't feel the most comfortable with like the cutting foundations, you know? And
is that the skills that you use for Vidal Sassoon? Is that what you apply with all your haircuts?
Not necessarily 100%, but it's definitely, I mean, honestly, to any new hairstylist, any hairstylist that have been in the industry, but feel like, you know, not super confident with their cutting skills, like Vidal Sassoon broadened my perspective on really the fundamentals and every single thing that goes behind hair cutting in a really beautiful, simple, streamlined way. Like, I would recommend it to anyone, honestly. It really really gave me a lot of confidence.
That's really cool. And then now you're at Gigis Salon and you moved to Venus Allure
Yeah.
because Gigi was closing down.
Gigi was closing, unfortunately. After like 20 years in business, they decided to close their doors. And so, yeah, I had an opportunity to go over to Venus Allure. I was fortunate enough to know the manager there. And yeah, we reconnected and she gave me an opportunity to go and be a commission stylist. And I feel like I really found a great, also a secondary great, like, community there of stylists that really, really supported each other and really were a family. And that was really, really nice to find.
And the salon was commission, right?
The salon was commission, and then there were a few leasers. So it was kind of half and half, kind of a different structure than you'd usually see. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I feel like that was one of the first times where I really started to feel like that, like, maybe there is a place for me, you know?
Oh, that's
like,
really cool.
Acceptance and, like, you know, yeah.
And then do you still talk to any of those stylists at Venus Allure?
Totally do. Yeah.
Are there still, do they still, some of them work there?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Most of them still work there. There's one or two that still haven't gone back to work yet. They're just taking their time during the pandemic to, like, really be cautious and, you know,
it's really good.
Get better. So yeah.
And then after that, so 3 years, you wanted to go lease, mm-hmm. and they wouldn't let you, right?
Yeah. That was kind of the thing. It was like, I always knew, like, that I wanted to move to leasing, and I felt like I was at a point that I was really, really getting close to being there. I had to just gain so much, like, knowledge from the business side, from people that I work with, my manager there. Like, I really feel like I had this strong foundation of, like, I could totally just be doing this on my own, like, and I think it would help me grow in my confidence, grow in, like, my clientele, like, just to have it be, you know, my own thing, still in a place that's supportive of each other, but, like, yeah, a little bit more independent. Like, I think I'm realizing more and more, like, I am a really independent person. Mm-hmm. And that's also another thing that makes this career great, is that you really have to take accountability for your own path.
Oh yeah, totally. And your business too. Yeah. So now you have been leasing for how long? And it's actually been really new, not even a year, right?
Not even a year. So I decided to start leasing 2 weeks before the shutdown in March.
Which we didn't know we were going to have a shutdown. Did you know? Like, did you know we were going to have a shutdown at that time?
I had no,
okay. No, I don't think we knew that. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think we knew in, like, early February. Like, there wasn't necessarily, I mean, maybe we knew, okay, there's this virus, but, like, how many other times have there been viruses that we've known about? And there was never this repercussion, right? Of something like that. And so just obviously, like, none of us really could have, like, anticipated something like this happening in our lives, I think. Like,
oh yeah,
it's not something that you really prepare for.
Now what, okay, so, because God, this would be so hard if you're commission, you're getting a paycheck, and then all of a sudden, hey, I want to do lease, and then it's like, shit, we have a shutdown. Yeah. You did work briefly at a salon, but I think what was the really cool thing that Venus Allure did is they let you take your clients.
Yeah.
And not a lot of commission salons do that, because they're technically, those are the businesses' clients, which I think is utter bullshit.
100%. And I think that, you know, and there's always that kind of, like, in your, you know, contract, like, they're like, okay, well, you know, maybe you don't have access to their phone numbers. But at the end of the day, when I had my conversation of, like, giving my notice to the owner, she was like, you know what? She was like, the clients are going to follow you, Alison. She's like, you know, it was that experience of, like, it was not, you know, it was a parting of, like, best of luck in the next step of your career. That's just natural. She's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I expected it. Like, you're moving on to that next chapter." And she's like, "Your clients are going to follow you." And I was
That's
like,
really
obviously
cool.
the open door for my clients, if they love that location, if I move somewhere farther away, that like, there's amazing stylists at Venus that I would absolutely 100% recommend to any of my clients that wanted to stay there because of the space, you know, like,
Yeah.
so it was nice to be able to have that time of just like, go spread your wings, like.
Well, yeah, that's great. And plus it's really good karma, I feel like, for the owner. Like that's good energy, you
Totally.
know?
I think
Um,
so.
oh yeah. Now, so you were briefly out of salon, but now you're at 77, which literally is just right across the river from
Yeah.
Venus.
Yeah.
How are your clients liking it? How are you liking it?
I honestly, I'm loving it. I was a little bit nervous to move to the west side again. Like, I'd worked at Gigi for, a year on the west side in Southwest. And I really did build, because I apprenticed there, and that was like my big focus. I really built most of my clientele at Venus. And I realized, you know what? It's literally right across the bridge. It's
Mm-hmm.
not, it's like a mile away, and I'm loving it. I honestly feel like it's exactly where I need to be right now.
That's
There's
really cool.
the right level of like, there's enough style is there. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
like that energy of like
Yeah.
having people around, especially right now in my career. I feel like I'm still in a place where I'm growing and
Mm-hmm.
like learning, and just like other people give me energy,
Oh yeah.
There's good energy or bad energy, like you decide, kind of decide what you take from that. But
Which I did experience some bad energy last week, so that's why maybe we could talk about that. Remember I told you the
yeah.
story? Okay, we could talk about that. That's when I was saying we could do the acting.
Okay. Oh, are you gonna have me like pretend that I'm someone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because I can make it a fun thing rather than I'm very upset about this, but
Are we still upset about this?
I know. What I thought was interesting is you were doing clients and you had a certain, I'm pretty sure you had a certain style, certain kind of color that you liked. What was interesting is when you told me, I think this was a few weeks ago, you told me like, yeah, no, I'm at 77 and I'm doing pink hair now.
Yeah. So I feel like I've definitely kind of established a brand of like, okay, like effortless hair, like a little bit more low maintenance, a little bit more like casual, like, lived in vibes.
Yeah.
Soft, natural, like brunettes and blondes, like with lots of dimension. And then, I was surprised to come down to 77 and have it be like blam, like everyone's just like doing bright hair.
Yeah.
And it's something that I never really like sought out, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
because I always wanted to find clients that I like connected with, and that like, this is who I am. Like, I want to
Right.
find people, it's like you kind of have to create in a way, just like, all right, how do I, instead of feeling like you don't fit in this industry, it's just like, how do you find your people? And you find your people eventually, which
Oh,
is,
totally.
yeah. But yeah, it's kind of cool. I feel like I'm open to new things, and like feel like there's a lot of people coming in like wanting some cutting edge, like interesting things,
Mm-hmm.
that at this point in my career, like I don't want to settle into something yet,
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
I want to push myself, I want to grow. Like, I'm always down to experiment and be creative as well, like push boundaries. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's fun too.
What now? What color right now? What kind of color is kind of, I don't know about tricky, but you would like to learn more about it, and what type of haircut right now?
That's hard.
I kind of put you on the spot.
Yeah, you did. I feel like just for me, like having a little bit more confidence with like formulation and like placement for brighter colors. Like
Yeah.
I'm so used to soft blending that like does that, you know, in my mind, I'm like, maybe that's not the right thing to do when you're
Mm-hmm.
dealing with like wanting dramatic contrast.
Which I can actually help you with that, like with funky colors and stuff.
Like my formulation game, I feel like so confident about. And like whether it's soft colors, whether it's bright colors, like it's all like formulation is formulation, right?
Yeah.
Like, creating colors is creating colors, but it's like when it comes down to the placement and you're so you can, like even your brain like reverts to that like blend like
it is, you know what, doing creative colors, you have so much freedom, and a lot of the creative colors that I do, they're not even symmetric on the head. It's like I'll do a foil like on the right hand side that's a little bit higher, and then I'll do one in the back like underneath the nape, and that's the really fun part.
That can be really cool about it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I think that because I loved like the science and the fundamentals of hair, like that like freedom is a little bit scary sometimes. Like I'm definitely that stylist that was like, oh, like I don't even know where to like go with this in my mind. Like,
yeah. Now, what about for your haircut? I've been seeing you do a ton of curly hair, which I absolutely love.
Yes, that's something that I've really been blessed to have the opportunity to be trained in at Venus, who is very well known as a curly salon for natural curl, natural texture of like all kinds. And I love it. I think it's something so beautiful and really plays on the connection I have with like helping people in their life, because people so often, unfortunately, because of the lack of training in schools, I think.
Yeah.
That's something that we really as an industry need to work on. It's just like diversifying like our education.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Like, I mean, there was a chapter in the book, but like we did not touch on it. And it wasn't until I kind of sought it out to want to do, you know, on my own that I really learned about it. And just from what I've learned from clients is that, you know, they really feel like their hair is just fundamentally shitty. Like,
yeah.
And I have to just like, I get the privilege to be able to like open their eyes to be like, your hair is amazing and there's nothing wrong with your hair. Like, there's nothing wrong with you. Like, there's nothing wrong with your hair. And I feel like that is so ingrained sometimes that like being able to like help break down those barriers for them is huge.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, it's amazing. And I feel like that's what I love about it. I love like the freedom to be able to like individually carve these curls and like transform is really cool. It's like sculpting. Like,
oh totally.
I really love like freehand cutting hair, because like sculpting, and like I feel like I've always loved working with my hands and being tactile. And so having that like space to like visually see where something is moving without, you know, this section, I feel like I like the creativity within hair cutting for sure.
And then going back to my other question, what is the haircut that you'd like to work on now, or that you're, I don't want to say unfamiliar with, but just excited to learn more about?
I always want to play. I really feel like I have clients right now that are wanting to push the boundaries and go a little bit more into avant-garde, like interesting haircuts. And so I feel like that realm for me, like breaking the boundaries, like breaking the rules, is where I'm trying to kind of figure out like, okay, I'm ready to feel like I want to break the rules. Like, do we do like a bang that goes way too far? Do we do, you know, where can we go with this that totally breaks down the structure of all of the fundamentals that you know about hair? How do we create and sculpt like interesting shapes? And I feel like I'm just kind of getting to that point with my clientele that they're kind of, and they're maybe they're just in a space too of like wanting something different, you know?
So, you know, the shag cut's always in. It's been in for a while. And I've been getting a lot of curly shags, which I love. So much fun. And now I've been wanting to do shag mullets, which is now a thing.
I feel like that was definitely something in the last few years that I loved getting into.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to grow mine out.
Did you had a shag?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Do you have a picture of that?
Yeah, I'm sure I do.
Okay, I'd love to see it.
So
well, first you were trendy before anybody else was trending then.
I had my shag mullet in 2016, y'all.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. Want to evolve though.
Yeah, so. I am sporting right now. I am sporting kind of a mullet shag. It is by Sam. I think her name is Wicked Hair Jewelry, and she is working at Love Salon on Hawthorne.
Oh, cool.
So she did my color. She did the cut, she added to the cut. Jimmy from French did my overall cut. Mm-hmm. And it's been kind of fun to like be a client and meet different stylists and just sit and be a client and not feel like rushed that you need to get your hair done.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome.
And then what was interesting, about like breaking boundaries with hair, because my hair is really thick. I actually had Georgie shave a triangle above my ear to get rid of all that hair.
Wow. Okay.
Cool. And actually what's neat about it is it splits the front half of your hair forward as it pushes the other half back.
I love that. Having those like petally, wispy, like front of your ear and then have it splitting behind. I never would think to just shave a triangle.
I know I could show it to you when you're at work. Are you working today?
I'm not.
Okay.
This evening, actually, I have one.
Okay. All right. So talking about hair, you've been a hairstylist for 4 years. This is gonna be a hard one. Hard question. Is there a point in your career that and you know what? I got this from is Brene Brown. Do you know who this is?
No.
Oh my God. She is a researcher on shame and vulnerability, which I think is really cool. So I'll send you her link. Is there a point in your career that you have ever felt shamed by what you've done or did to a client or anything like that? Like, did you ever have a moment where you felt like, oh God, like, I am so sorry?
Totally. I mean, yeah.
Or there's a point where maybe something not so great happened to you as a hairstylist. I know this is a tough one. This is a hard one.
It's a big one,
That is a big one.
I think that 100%, I'm not perfect. Like, that's like, I mean, we all have our journey and we've all had situations where I think that, yeah, I mean, to pinpoint just one that like really, really, really stood out, is challenging.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's been a couple here and there that's just like, do we touch on like, yeah, like, I feel like sometimes it can be challenging with clients that are not open to like respecting the space or respecting you as an artist. And when they come in, setting that expectation. And that's what I've learned out of so many situations of like, okay, this went wrong, like, and we had a bad experience together, right?
How do you handle that?
I feel like, I don't know, everyone always tells me I'm very professional.
God, I wish I was like you. This is why I like you so much, because I feel like I am not sometimes, and I need people and friends in my life that are.
I feel like I need people that aren't, that like really will sometimes just like, be like, you know what? No, like, no.
Well, see, I'm a perfect candidate for that, Alison.
Because I think fundamentally, like, I'm a people pleaser. Like, I want to just.
Oh God, yeah.
Let's like intellectualize this a little bit and like really deep dive into thinking about why this really actually happened, which can be like a blessing and a curse because it makes you really analyze freaking everything. So,
God.
Yeah, I feel like I have really just like always. It's been important to say like, these experiences happened. It's just like, I'm thinking about one in particular that happened at Venus, and I really just think, and it was like one of the only times like my manager could like hear her like yell.
Oh God.
And she came over and she like, I mean,
did you cry?
Not in front of her.
Okay.
Right after she left, I just started bawling.
Oh God. Was it a cut in color?
It was. And it was one of those situations where she was gray and she wanted to blend her gray with blonde and showed me a really high contrasted picture where the person had really dark base with light blonde pieces, right? And just explaining, I'm definitely in like explaining, like, it's not going to be contrasted like that. We'd have to cover your base. She didn't want to do a base. Okay. So like we kind of agreed upon, like, it's not going to look like a picture, move on. And, after she finished it, she was like, it's nothing like I wanted. This is the picture, and just started like yelling like in the whole salon. And I was just like so taken back, and I kept trying to be like, we talked about this, like, this is, because you're gray, because we're like repeating our consultation, like, and it was just a challenging situation where I feel like, all right, sometimes you can't communicate enough and people just aren't really gonna totally understand, and that's okay. Unfortunately, like, you have to let those things go and like have your moment to be upset, because when someone's like attacking you, like, it's just natural.
Oh God.
I feel like, just like realizing like, I don't know where that person's at in their life, but also how can I do better in my consultation? How can I be more like real and give more like thorough explanations? Like, that's something that's huge to me, is really just like breaking things down in that communication with clients is something that, I mean, to any stylist out there, like, will grow your business exponentially, because it helps build trust. It helps clients feel like you care, and shows that you do care. Like, hopefully you care. Like,
oh yeah.
I
mean,
learning experiences through like having bad things. It's just like, how could I have communicated better?
Yeah, I think that is definitely a good one. Do you want to do the acting?
Sure. I was like, you just like let that behind.
Okay, so you guys, I did not have a great experience last week. And the problem with me is when I do not have a great experience, it kind of lingers on me. I don't like it. It makes me feel yucky. I have to talk to my friends about it. Janelle usually hears a lot of it. And so, so now I have you. So I'm sorry.
I love to help people process. So like,
oh God. So I figured this is the best way to do it. We are going to pretend. Have you seen The Sopranos?
Yes.
Okay. This is going to be pretty heavy. Okay. I am TonySoprano. Okay.
Oh my God. Okay.
Are you getting excited for this? I really wish I was a thespian. I wish I did acting in high school and grade school, but I was too nervous. And I think this might be my calling.
I'm so shy.
Oh God. So this is either going to be an epic fail, and clients are going to be like, F that girl, she's kind of crazy. But I think this is going to be pretty good. All right. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Okay. So I'm TonySoprano. I don't have a strip club, because I think in the movie show he has a strip club. I do not have a strip club. I have a restaurant.
Strip club.
Yeah. I have a restaurant, and I am a chef. I'm a very good chef, and I went to Italy, took some cooking classes, and I'm an amazing chef.
Gangster? So you're not Soprano?
No, I am kind of a gangster. I am kind of a gangster. So I'll lead into that. And you are Al.
Wow.
You're Al, and you have a business. Okay. And I like your business. You're an entrepreneur. I don't really know you, but I want to know you.
Okay.
So all I need you to say is, yeah, Tony, yeah, or no, Tony, no. And I'll tell you when you can say that. All right.
Okay.
All right. You ready?
Yeah.
I'm so nervous about this, but I think it's good.
Ready, Tony? Let's do this.
I'm ready. Hey, Al, how you doing?
I'm great.
You're doing great. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you remember that night that you came over to my house and I cooked you that amazing meal?
Yeah.
So
How
you remember? Yeah, so you remember that night you came over to my house. I cooked you this amazing meal because I really like you and I want to know your business. So you remember that, right?
100%.
Okay, so I'm cooking you this meal. You're in my house. We're having this amazing meal. And as you're exiting my house, I tell you, hey, Yao, can you tell everybody else that I made this amazing meal, that you absolutely love this meal because you love this meal, right?
Of course. How can I
Okay,
forget? I will leave you a review.
okay. So you're leaving my house. All right, so do you know what I hear? Do you know what I hear on the streets?
What do you hear, Tony?
I hear Al, who I thought I was going to be friends with. I wanted to invest in your business. You wanted to invest in mine. This is what I hear on the streets. I hear from Karen. I hear from Jimmy. I hear from Johnny. I hear from Butch that you had a nice meal. You say it's a classy meal. You had a nice meal. You don't say my name, but you know what you did? And this is where you go, no, Tony, what?
No, Tony, what?
You went ahead and you cooked another meal for yourself that same night at your place. And you know what really boils me? What boils my blood? What just really irks me? You know what, Al?
What?
You're not a goddamn cook. I don't know if people would understand that, but
I mean, yeah. Where it's like, that would hurt your feelings, right? Like, that's the lesson in this, is that like, and I think that it comes down to too, is like the misleading, where it's like, oh, if you weren't,
it was awful.
then why wouldn't you? I don't know. I just feel like in those situations, when I've kind of been in similar situations, maybe where someone's not blasting online, but like,
Yeah.
I kind of find out later, oh, well, maybe they actually weren't as happy as I thought, that they would have felt like they could reach out to me personally.
It's hard,
I think that sometimes is hard for us. Like, we can only do so much.
Yeah.
To make people feel comfortable enough to do that. And also, yeah, sometimes people just will never, no matter how much we make them feel comfortable to do that, they will never do that. And it's really hard not to analyze and analyze and analyze.
And that's where I'm going through, is the one thing that bothers me about this whole thing is I felt like I did a really good service.
Yeah.
And it just was not communicated that I did not do a good service. And I did. I saw it on social media and I was flabbergasted like this, and just emotionally, I was taken aback.
Yeah.
I got hurt feelings. And I felt that my work as a hairdresser is not important. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, being a hairdresser, we're not important. We're like nobodies. It's like, oh, it's just hair. Who cares?
Right.
That's what it felt like. And that's what I don't like. And the really hard part, like, you guys, I know I went through a whole like positive to a negative. The hard part right now is we're lucky that we have a job. We're at least open.
Yeah.
There are people in the service industry losing their jobs left and right. And I kind of joked around, people are like, well, it's really cool that hair salons are open. And I'm like, I'm guessing Kate Brown doesn't want to get caught like Nancy Pelosi, right?
Right.
Nope. Miss Brown needs her hair done too. So that's probably why we're open, because we make clients feel good in our chair. They need something like that.
Totally. And I think that that's been the biggest, to be perfectly honest, I was not really that excited to come back to work.
I know.
was scared. Like, I was
like, oh yeah,
I don't want to go back. Like, I don't want to go back and put myself in danger and be this like experiment.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And so the biggest like positive out of that was like, I didn't ever realize until really like never really set in the impact until like COVID-19, like, you know, being in this new environment, like, and having clients really express like how much it means to them
And those are
great it makes them feel. And I always knew, you know, it's like, oh, I get to make people, you know, feel more confident and, you know, give them that kind of like be able to connect with like who they see themselves as through their, you know, aesthetic. Like that's always great. But to really say that like so many people like these are the one conversations some people are having, you know, like in person, like
oh
that,
yeah,
being able to do that is just been, it's made it all worth it for me.
I think it's really good. With me is I invest so much into my career, and I know you're the same way, and I know there's a ton of hairstylists listening. You know, it's like it's not just hair, it's art. We're putting our heart into it. We're getting to know our clients. COVID's happening right now, so we need to be extra careful for ourselves as well as for our clients, because I don't know where those clients have been. I don't know what they've been doing. And, you know, which you do hope that everybody is being safe, but not only do we have that, and of course, my books aren't nearly as busy as what they used to be. And for me, now, this is a personal thing. I have 2 kids at home. I'm totally on it at home. Really, me going to work is a break for me. Seeing my clients and enjoying my clients and trying to be safe, making sure that my room is clean, that's really important to me. It's when I get hurt or when I see that my work is not taken as seriously, that's what hurts me.
Yeah.
And it happens. And that's the one thing about our job that I feel like this is one of the parts of hairdressing that I don't like, is not being able to please everybody in your chair. And also using social media as attention and making people feel bad behind it.
Yeah. Where it was like almost in those points, it was like you weren't tagged. Like they directly posted that to make you feel bad.
I think so. I don't know.
I think so too. And that's like in that way, I just think sometimes people like see us as too, unfortunately, like this. I mean, thankfully, this isn't the majority. And that's not my experiences. This isn't the majority. But like when it happens, it's like, it's so deeply hurtful. Like where people are literally in the business of trying to like help people feel good. And when that doesn't happen, and when it comes back and reflects in that way where it's like, you know, they directly are trying to make us feel bad. It's just, it's so disrespectful. And I feel like there's a lack of respect for, you know, our industry and people in our industry. That it's not a career. Like, can't tell you how many times people have asked me, like, you know, what's my real job?
Oh God. Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And it's just like, at that point, like I do stand up for myself and say, you know, trying to say like, hey, like, you know, unfortunately, like that's unfortunate that that's been your perspective. And like, the most I can do is just like explain to them why this is a career, why this is 100% a legitimate career in a business. And that's something that I know for my whole career doing hair is going to be something that I really strongly want to help other stylists feel and learn too, because I think sometimes it can get to like we can feel that way.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
That we're not legitimate, that we, you know, and just kind of like how can we change the industry and the way that we structure our business, the way that we charge, the way that we're, you know, like not giving discounts left and right. It's like,
oh yeah, totally.
You know,
and I think also having a conversation like this and actually being real. You know, I think this is really important. I was kind of worried about whether or not to tell you that story, because it's like, oh God, I'm going to get clients that are thinking like, okay, you're just like shaming people, which, you know, it could look at that way, but it's like, you know what? There is somebody behind that haircut and color. It's not just the person wearing it. There's somebody behind it that created it who has a different life, who has feelings, and you know what? Takes pride in their work.
Exactly. Like this is your passion. This is your work. This is like what you do. And when that happens, like it is a lot of feelings.
Yeah. But I do want, I would like you to know though, Al, you paid for my meal. I didn't feel right keeping the money that you paid for, so I gave you back your money. So you have your money back. So you have your money back from the meal I made you.
Yeah.
And then that's it.
Can I ask you on here if you've heard back from that person?
Yeah.
Okay.
Still didn't feel good.
There was not a good productive dialogue that could happen from that.
Nope.
And that's when it's really unfortunate. Is like the hope is that you can come to terms with, you know,
Yeah.
some like closure, even of just like meeting halfway to understand each other. And unfortunately, sometimes that just doesn't happen in life. And it's really disappointing. But just know, like, there are so many people out there for you. And like,
yeah.
This wasn't your person. And
Yeah.
there are so many people that are gonna be. And we just have to kind of like vent about it and then like go through the stages of grief. I'm like, it's literally
oh my God, I know.
Anxiety goes through stages of grief of like, I'm having to chat about something, and I just like I come into the salon, I'm like, I'm freaking out. Yeah. I'm like, oh, okay, so like I've processed and like we're you know, this is where I'm at with it, and like we're gonna be good.
Oh my God, I am so glad you're working at the salon. Thank you. Well, I just want to say thank you for letting me process this and bounce ideas with you and have you listen. I really appreciate it.
I'm always here for that. So
now, just to kind of close, because I don't want to close on a negative note, but this is really good. It makes clients aware like what we're going through, but also makes other stylists know you don't have to be a doormat. Do not be a doormat in this industry. You're not a doormat. You're actually very important. What do you do right now? I know with COVID, it's really limited. Do you do anything nice for yourself?
Do I do anything nice for myself?
Or you and your husband do anything nice for each other right now?
I feel like I'm always just like about the little things. And it's kind of always been that way for me. So I don't know, like just cooking a nice meal.
Yeah.
And like sitting down together, like going for a walk, and like, I don't know, just like having nice moments to sit and like drink coffee or tea and just like talk. Like that's nice. Like sometimes, you know, or whether it's like at night and we're just like, we need a vent session and like have some beers. Like
there you go.
You know, and like that's such a huge part. And I think always has been of just like this time to process together. Like I think it's just like weird, like, you know, it's like whether I'm processing alone or like processing out loud, like we get to kind of this time to process. And, you know, it's really hard being away from family, you know?
Yeah.
But
because Thanksgiving coming up. What are you guys doing for Thanksgiving?
We're staying here.
Okay.
Hanging out. We might go and do, my parents live in Corvallis, and we might go do like a little drive-by, like trade some baked goods and just like drop some off to them. They'll drop some off to us and just like wave and say hi. But we're just trying to be really cautious, like just at home a lot. And I really am like do function really well. It's just like I love being home. I love feeling safe and just like, you know, doing whatever feels okay in that moment. And that's where I feel like self-care is right now. It's just wherever you are, like, is okay. And we're keeping like continuing to remind yourself of that. It's just like wherever you're at, whatever you can handle in that moment is exactly what you need. And that's okay. If you're not writing your novel, that's okay.
Yeah. I think for right now, it's really hard for me to have time for myself because the kids and work. But honestly, what I really like doing is I like leaving the house an hour, sometimes a little bit before I start work, leave an hour, show up at work, unlock my room, clean up my room, listen to music. I've been listening to too many political podcasts, so I'll listen to that. And then I actually have a humidifier, or a diffuser that I do eucalyptus or lavender. So I like to do that to get ready for my day. And then I do that at night after I'm done with my shift. So that is one of my things that I really, really like.
I like those kind of like grounding rituals.
Yeah.
Like, or whatever you want to call them, like, where they really help you like signify the day, where it's like maybe nothing in life right now this year is routine or normal.
Right.
But like if you can just do those little small things like that can make all the difference sometimes, or just a small difference. I don't know.
Yeah. And for somebody that is new to hair or is just starting leasing, which is really scary right now with COVID, do you have any pearls of wisdom or advice?
I would recommend to new stylists to like, seek out other stylists in the community.
Yeah.
Reach out to them, to be honest. Like I didn't really necessarily do that. And I feel lucky that I've been able to like come in contact with people that I've really connected with that have helped me grow and learn and just like feel connected and not alone. I think sometimes this experience of learning how to navigate those emotions, like we were talking about in those experiences, like you can oftentimes feel alone and just shame about those things. And I think the more we can, and that new stylists can just say, like, reach out to stylists that they respect or admire and build those connections, the more we can build a community of like support. And I think we really need that. And I think, seek out support, seek out education, like stay inspired. Like, it's challenging right now for a lot of people that don't love this like virtual platform, but I feel like I always say, like, never turn away any education. Like there's always some nugget of wisdom from anything, even if you feel like you know everything about
totally
or whatever. Like every class I take, I always learn something, and there's always a new perspective, and just like stay evolving.
That's great.
The biggest thing in life, in this career, is just like keep the momentum.
I love that. Well, thank you, Alison, so much
for having me, Emily.
Yeah, it's been great. Thank you for letting me process my story, my little hiccup story that I have.
I'm really good to that, and like
it does feel good. It really feels good to talk about this stuff. And then I'm actually doing some redemption hair. Just last week after this whole hiccup, I got a new client from Facebook who I follow, Carrie Atkins, who's a plus size model. And she hadn't had a haircut for 3 years. As I was cutting her hair, I did the shag cut. She's like, I hope you don't mind. I think I'm going to cry.
Oh,
It's making me. So yeah. And then I have another friend of mine who used to be a model for me, and I'm going to see her on Friday, and we're going to do some really cool hair on her. So that'll make me feel good. But
moving on. And that's just like touching on that. It's like we processed. Now we're moving on. And we're focusing on those rad people that are in your space and are taking space. So
well, thank you so much, Alison. This has been a lot. Oh yeah. And I guess I might just see you later tonight at work.
Yeah, I'll see you later.
Okay, I will talk to you later, all right?
Okay, bye.
Bye. So guys, that was my hair talk and coffee with Alison Wilson. Alison, I'm really looking forward to getting to know you more. Thank you so much for being on the show. If you guys want to check out her work, her Instagram is Ali Wilson Hair. I do have to say that I am was actually worried about airing this episode. I'm still really heated about the situation, and that's why I kind of made it as a joke, doing an impromptu soprano sing, which actually I kind of have fun talking like that. You know what I mean? Like talking like a gangster, talking like Boston, maybe? I don't know. I can't remember where Tony's from, but I do have fun doing different voices. Whether or not I sound great, I don't know, but I think I'm funny. The point of this story is we're not dummy people. Our occupation is hard. It takes education, time, and skill. You are not only getting a haircut or a haircut in color with us, you're getting to know us. And I'm getting to know you. Now you guys know me, or at least are getting to know me, and you know I love this career. But when my career and job turns sour for me and is not fun, and is hard work is when clients have absolutely no respect for my talent, my skill, and have no respect for this field. And this is a field that I feel very passionate about and love. And instead, ridicule it by making it meaningless, something that I absolutely love, diminishing it, that it's not important, and plastering that all over social media for attention, for likes, and for a laugh. That's not cool. I don't like that. Those are not my people. I don't want to know those people, and I certainly don't want to have those people sitting in my chair. Now, I know this sounds incredibly harsh, and I may get some pushback from this, but I know my self-worth, and I know that I'm an excellent hairstylist. So guys out there, I think mostly it's hairstylists that are listening to the podcast. If you guys are struggling and you've had a situation where you feel awful, it's like you almost want to throw in the towel, quit doing hair because of how you were treated. Just know your self-worth. You've worked really hard for this career. This is a career that you love. You're passionate about it. Don't throw in the towel. You'll find your people. You'll find some great people, I promise you. And with what's going on right now, everybody's suffering in one way or another. I don't want to tear people down. I don't want to tear small businesses down. So if you are a business owner, a small business owner, or a business owner here in the Portland area, I don't have a ton of followers or listeners. I mean, I would like to say I don't have a ton of listeners yet. I'm hoping that I get quite a few more later. Just please contact me because I'd like to do a shout out for you on the show. And hopefully in some way, it'll help support my amazing, beautiful Portland community. If you're interested in the shout out, I'd also like to get to know other small business owners. You can email me at portlandhairstylist@gmail.com. IG Portland Hairstylist, or you can reach me through my website, www.hairapy.salon. Thank you again, Alison, for taking the time to have coffee with me. I'll see you at work soon. And thank you so much, guys, for taking the time to listen to this episode, allowing me to share my hair journey and giving me grace. Well, that's it for now. So this is your Hairapy session with Emily. I'm your host, Emily Mazur, aka Portland Hairstylist. Show written by Emily Mazur, sponsored by Ziba Hub. Ziba Hub, a career app for beauty professionals where you can find jobs, explore events, and build community. And editing by 127 Media House.